Okay, seriously, what are these things? We still don't quite know what these so-called beam emitters do, but I got some interesting and feasible theories for you guys because we see them a fuck ton in the Halo Infinite trailer, and they actually imply something huge for Halo Infinite, so let's get into it. It's gonna be a good one, guys. This video is supported by Audible. Get a free Halo audiobook or choose one of millions of ebooks. Link down in the description. During the presentation about Halo Infinite's making of the E3 trailer, they went about discussing the so-called lighthouses in Halo Combat Evolved. 343's Dan Shoshish was talking about Halo Infinite's more hopeful marketing, which I'm going to be talking about in another video, but that's a lot of stuff to get into right there, hopeful marketing. But they talk about how Halo 1 had hope and how they would redo that in Halo Infinite, and how would you go about, this is the question they asked, visualizing or putting out a feeling in imagery, and that feeling of hope as they did in the trailer. Well, hope can be a flare, a signal, a vector, trajectory, lighthouse, guidance, or a beacon. All those things represent a visual feeling of hope. So where was that in Halo 1? Consistently, they asked. In the original Halo, it was the beacon or beam emitters, also nicknamed communication towers. There was actually barely, if any, lore originally about these things, but they were used in gameplay as an environmental function, and that one function would be to show the player past the canyon and structures to suggest that there is more to explore. In the Halo Infinite trailer, we see these everywhere. Blue beam, blue team, and more freaking blue beams. I mean, they're just everywhere in this trailer. This was to show and express hope, but I do think it does something else, something very big, and it's a dead giveaway. Once again, it represents where we will be able to go, and I say this for a couple of reasons. Why the hell would these things be an unreachable distance just to cock tease us throughout the game? And second, the original function already was there. It was to show the player where we could go on the ring, like in Halo 1. Looking back, this just makes my knees weak because all those beam emitters we see in the Halo Infinite teaser, well, we'll probably, most likely be able to go wherever those beams are. Probably. And it's a big probably, but yeah. And this is thrilling to think about because I talked a lot about this recently, so I'll keep this part short, but I am pretty damn sure this whole ring will be explorable the whole way around, hence the name Halo Infinite. I mean, it's literally in the name, it's sort of obvious. It's sort of like the Halo 5 Guardians title. We kept asking, what are the Guardians? And we see these big structures fly off the ground. I don't know, guys, I'm really thinking about it. What? Guardians, okay, Guardians, what are Guardians? Well, maybe it's Halo Infinite, right? It's a caveman speaking. The Halo ring we explore will be infinite. Around and around we go, always exploring. I mean it, bro. I mean, it looks like they're even working on the side of the ring. Why the bloody hell are they even concerned about the edges, which we've never been on this ring, if we're only going to be in isolated parts of the ring during the campaign? No. I think this will all be explorable, and I think this all supports the theory that we will be able to go around this ring in circles, and man, would we be blown away. I know I would. Now, maybe not all of the ring, every single inch will be explorable, such as certain areas of the map will be unreachable certain times in the campaign, or perhaps permanently because 343 didn't want to be that expansive with the campaign and explorability. But these towers will provide us probably with a sense of direction as we navigate between valleys and mountains and lakesides and whatnot. Nonetheless, it kind of will be pointing us to certain areas in the game, and if this game is open world, it doesn't mean that every single part needs to be explorable like in Grand Theft Auto 5, but just big portions of it may be explorable, and I think that is the case we have here, folks. It's Halo Infinite. So notice I haven't actually addressed the real core question of this video, which is what the hell are these things anyway? Well, that's the thing, we're not actually sure. It's a mystery, which is fucking weird because goddamn they're everywhere. Entire Halo levels based off these freaking things, and yet we still don't know what they actually do, at least anytime recently. They've been called communication towers or beam emitters or blue blasters, which is, I mean, they shoot blue beams and probably have some kind of purpose to it regarding information maybe. But that theory, I mean, that's just kind of weird, right? Because, I mean, we're here in 2018 and our radio towers don't need to shoot a gob of swirling blue jizz through space, so what the hell would an advanced alien species need that for? But fuck me. Also, another theory is that they may actually be used to transport energy for the activation process of the Halo rings. You know, maybe a part of the ring has too much energy, so it just shoots it straight across. Or maybe a way for the ring to delegate energy is it shoots it right across the ring instead of through tunnels and energy circuits and whatnot. That seems really fucking dangerous. Or even maybe these are mini simulation test firings of the ring. Whatever it is, I think it is very likely that these things have something to do with the firing of the Halo array. That makes sense, right? How Halo rings fire is having a collection of energy group up in the middle of the ring and then explode outwardly to annihilate everything, right? And I'm unsure what this has to do with it directly, but the most obvious go-to theory I have, and anyone would, is that it contributes to this, blasting a substantial amount of energy to the center of the ring when fired. Although that doesn't really seem like a lot of energy, so that's sort of making me scratch my head on that theory. Though I guess there is like a ton of these things. But if this is the case, I'm still not sure why they would just fire into the sky for no reason all day long. Another common theory is that these beam towers actually act as stabilizers to keep the collected energy in place. In Halo 2, we see Miranda Keyes take out the index early, only to have the control center blast off some energy. Now, this wasn't a complete energy blast, obviously, but the energy would have only stabilized here in the center. But maybe these towers actually support this happening, and maybe there's a small burst of energy in the middle of the ring. Now, there might be some lore that completely dismantles that theory, but that's my guess. It may also be a safety procedure, too, to ensure firing mechanisms are prepared to fire. So it seems like I have a bunch of theories and not much factual information. Well, you are watching a HaloFollower video. But what we do know is that these emitters are dangerous shit, and we see that in most of the Halo games and maps. With a few exceptions, they will insta-kill any Spartan that steps near them. In Halo Reach on the level of Tempest, this Foreigner weather station is likely using the blue energy beams into the sky that alter the weather on the ring, somehow. And in Halo 2 and 3 we see familiar looking beam towers that look similar to beam emitters, but they're actually used to project a force field like barrier. So what exactly are these towers? Well, again, I'm not sure, but my best guess is that they have something to do with the firing mechanisms on the ring. All Foreigner structures on any Halo ring, and almost everything we've seen so far, has some direct, obvious contribution to the workings and the function of the ring, such as firing the ring, or committing to some barrier, or potentially changing the weather. And it's clear that this blue energy and these beams can do just about anything that the Foreigners wanted them to do. But for what these towers are exactly doing here, isn't so clear, and why there's so many all around. And obviously it has some gameplay purpose to it, at least in Halo 1, and maybe it wasn't thought about in the grand scheme of things by Bungie when the first Halo game came out. But perhaps all of these things alter the weather and make storms for the ring to thrive on. Ultimately, what I think the so-called beam emitters do, in the lore anyway, is help or support the firing mechanisms on the ring. That makes the most sense to me. Or changes or helps supports the weather. But from a gameplay perspective, these towers are pretty important, and they function as showing the players the explorable world is still out there, and I believe, just like in Halo 1, they will serve a similar purpose in Halo Infinite. To think that we're going to be able to explore a massive amount of ground and space here on the Halo ring, Zeta Halo, helped by these towers functioning as geographical map points, is just mind-blowing and exciting as hell to me. I mean, look, it's so far off in the distance in the clouds, and perhaps with the ever-changing weather on this ring, as well as the animals reacting to these blasts. I mean, that's just so freaking cool, right? To make an explorable planet in most games just isn't feasible unless it's like Minecraft or a procedural generated world like No Man's Sky. But that's not going to happen in Halo. In a game like Halo, what is feasible in a place that we can explore that feels almost limitless is a ring. a Halo ring in the title. It's Halo, right? And to have a place that is completely explorable on the surface, I think hell yeah. I bet 343 Industries could pull that off. I honestly do believe 343 intends for us to explore great distances, and as they have already confirmed and greatly hinted, they want us to explore, they want us to travel around. And to what regard and distance, I don't know, but I'm pretty damn sure it's all around the Halo ring, baby, and I think they'll be rewarding us as we do. Now, I could go a little bit further and talk about RPG elements and how that might play into the open world and how these towers serve as a very important function, and perhaps these towers are parts of missions and stuff, but I think that's best served for a video focused on the RPG aspect, because there is some news recently, which I talked about in a video or two ago, that Halo Infinite may in fact have a lot of RPG elements, role-playing elements, right? Such as exploring, being able to rank up and change our gear and maybe change our Warthog and talk to people and meet new people and explore new places and all that good jazz like Fallout or any of those good games like Destiny. But anyways, guys, I'll leave you with this. What's your guess on what these towers do exactly? And if I missed something, please let me know. I want to share it to the rest of people that, you know, want to be informed about this. And what do you think their purpose is in Halo Infinite? And what do you think about my traveling around the entire Halo ring, Halo Infinite theory? I want to hear your thoughts and your own theories down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it and put it up in a future Halo podcast. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out that Audible link down right there in the description. Get a free Halo book or any of millions of different choices. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.